Yo. Let's go. Hey, Yahweh for the corn. Yahweh negay announce song. Song. Hey, that's looking good. They don't act like humans, right?
Hidden in the heart of Africa, this wilderness appears as if it belongs to another era, a place where dinosaurs might still walk, where monstrous beasts lurk behind the jungle canopy.
Yo, I did hear that there was a dinosaur in the Niger Congo. Ugga or Ooga Booga.
And where the rivers run so deep that light cannot reach the bottom.
Falls.
The Congo is the place where nature challenges the human imagination most fiercely. Are you ready? This journey will take you across a river of monsters, introduce you to impossible creatures, and unveil mysteries that science to this day greets with silence.
Yeah.
The river that recreates a world.
They showed a little person.
On the map of Africa, there is a ribbon of water that curves like a gargantuan dragon, carrying life and profound secrets within its depths. This is the Congo River, the deepest river in the world and the lifeblood flowing through the second largest tropical rainforest on the planet. Beneath those murky waters lies a primordial world where nature still operates by the most ancient laws. The river begins its journey from the Bangweulu wetlands in Zambia, winding through nearly 3,100 miles of dense jungle, jagged rocks, and violent rapids before emptying into the Atlantic Ocean. Local people call it by sacred names, such as Chumbeshi, the Mother River, a symbol of connection and nourishment. In certain stretches,
Mexico City, March 20th, 2024. A team of historians working closely with the National Museum of Anthropology makes an incredible announcement. They have acquired three never-before-seen Aztec texts called codices that have been hidden away in a family archive for hundreds of years.
We have documents.
If you're Heron Clan, you are definitely Dinosaur Clan. Just so you know. Hey, Yahweh Jax, thank you for the 10 heart puffs.
About Aztec life and history. We call them codices. The ones that are made in Mexico in their fashion are fan-fold books. They're a single piece of amate bark paper that folds out like an accordion. They tell us all sorts of information about Aztec origins, Aztec politics, and who conquered who.
The codices have provided historians detailed accounts of the Aztec government, trade, and religious beliefs. But most interesting to ancient astronaut theorists is a set of pages known as the Codex Boturini that tells the Aztec origin story.
When it comes to the origins of the Aztecs, they claim to have originated from some mythical land called Aztlan.
The name Aztec means people of Aztlan. To them, Aztlan was their original homeland. It was this Edenic paradise. It was a land with a lake and an island, very peaceful.
In the accounts of the Aztecs, Aztlan is a real place. It's not some sort of heaven or other world. It's somewhere to the north.
According to the Aztec legend, in the middle of Aztlan stood a steep hill, and inside was a mysterious cave with 7 chambers called Chico-Mostan. The Aztecs say that from here, all the people of Mesoamerica emerged after a visit from an otherworldly being.
Aztlan was the domain of a goddess named Coatlicue. She is a creator goddess, and in Aztec mythology, she brings this flint knife to earth and she places it in the 7 caves.
Flint knife. Flint knife. Yo. What? There's Flint again.
And from within these 7 caves then emerged all the tribes, including the Aztecs.
All the tribes. So we named all the tribes earlier. The Native Americans, the American Indian, right? The Amerindian. You got the Amazonian. You got the Iroquois. You got the Amazonoid. You guys like that? Iroquois. You got the Algonquoid. You got the Sucoid. You got the Pueblan. Yeah, y'all. You got the Marindian. These are all brand new updated terms. We don't go by Mongoloid. You're not no fucking Mongoloid. You are original. You're not aboriginal either, because ab means not. Ab is Latin for no. Let's look that up real quick. Let's confirm that. On. What does AB in front of a word in Latin mean?
In Latin, a B before a word usually means away, from, or off, as in the prefixes ab or abs. It can also mean to, twice, or double.
On. Away from, off. Oh, we got banned, yo, what? The fuck, y'all? Hate speech. Dude, it's because... Damn, I can't believe I just got banned for that, yo, what? Live is an... God damn, yo. Yeah, yo, that's crazy. Hold on, I should get live access on my one account. My Joy Zero account. That has life on it. So Venus. Venus, yo. I'm looking at Venus right now and there's something there. There's something with Venus. Hey, we got live access on the Joy Zero account. Hey. Just gotta confirm my age real quick and then we can go on it. cool. Let's go.
This flint knife descended from the sky into the 7 caves of Aslan. And you have to wonder what this giant flint thing was. Was it perhaps an extraterrestrial craft?
The original stories of somebody descending from the sky and imparting knowledge happened in reality by flesh and blood extraterrestrials whom our ancestors misinterpreted
This is the new account.
as gods. Why were our ancestors considering them as gods?
I got banned.
Well, because they descended
I
from the
peeled it.
sky.
Let's see what happens though.
Could the Aztec legend of a flint knife descending from the sky be describing an extraterrestrial craft? As far as ancient astronaut theorists are concerned, even more intriguing are the striking similarities that exist between descriptions of Aztlan and the legendary lost city of Atlantis, a place that was said to be ruled by otherworldly beings.
There are some very provocative similarities between the stories of Aztlan and Atlantis. They're both considered to be Edenic sort of paradises. They both had canals or waterways. They were both described as circular. In fact, when you look at paintings of Tenochtitlan and compare them with paintings of Atlantis, they're virtually interchangeable. And then when you remove the Z, Aztlan is actually Atlan or Atlantis.
News strike, yo, that's crazy, yo. Give me the policy training, yo.
The Mexica were an indigenous people of the Valley of Mexico, known today as the rulers of the Aztec Empire. It is from them that modern Mexico gets its name. They weren't always indigenous,
On TikTok.
actually arriving after a long search. According to
The Aztecs came from Atlantis. Hundreds of you said it in your comments, and a few of you even came up with the clever Atlantis. What's strange isn't the theory, it's where the theory comes from. It doesn't come from Reddit or 4chan or YouTube even. It comes from a real book written in the 1800s by a standing US congressman based on the writings of Plato. So, today I'm going to give you the 5 discoveries I made about the connection between Aztlan and Atlantis, and I'll let you decide what to make of it all. How's that?
That sounds good.
Decide what to make of it all. How's that? Now, before we go any further, let's be precise. When most people say Aztecs, they're really talking about the Mexica, and their origin story begins with a place called Aztlan. Now, for some people, the story of Aztlan is a myth, but to many, it's a migration story, and a homeland whose location was lost to time, turning their history into a mystery to be solved. When I decided to take on the Aztlan-Atlantis connection, I figured I'd be diving headfirst into a Matrix-level series of conspiracy theories. And there are some out-there theories out there. But the deeper I went, the more I realized why, way before the internet, this idea was taken seriously, and also why people have latched onto it now. Now, if you're keeping score, this is episode 6 of our Searching for Aztlan series here on the channel. So far, we've looked for Aztlan here in Mexico and Nayarit. That was our very last episode. And to Utah and California north of the border. And both of those episodes stirred up a hornet's nest in the comments. This episode sits at the edge of that search, but you'll see how it's all connected. Let's start with the obvious, the names. Aztlan, Atlantis.
Scan up.
The name similarity kind of jumps out to you, right? In Mexica origin stories, Aztlan is remembered as their ancestral home, often described as an island, the starting point before everything else, but its true origin disappeared from history. Atlantis comes...
Are you from Atlantis? You know, if you're Native American, you're the only people that have ties to that place. You know that, right? No other group of people have ties to Atlantis unless you're fucking Roman. Your people talked about Atlantis. That was it. Native Americans are the only ones that have lineage that goes back to that. Not only that, Tartaria, too, and this is all backed up by science. Atlantis came from the Native Americans as Atlantis, right? The Aztecs. That's where they come from, right? And they say they came out in the middle of the earth, hollow earth. So all indigenous science is the foundation of modern day science. Natives knew that the earth was a water planet before. In 2019, they discovered at the top of Mount Everest algae that's millions of years old. So that means that the top of Mount Everest was even underwater. So that means that the whole planet was a water planet. That proves what we were saying, right? They didn't discover wormholes till Albert Einstein talked about them, but we already knew about them. Black holes, a dark hole that Sky Woman fell through in the sky. And that sounds like Gnosticism too. So basically, if life started in the Americas and we're truly the oldest people, you can hear our culture and our language and our history and everybody's stuff. And Native Americans, it's not just Native Americans are everything. Everything. We're the ancestors to everybody. Not Africans. Native Americans are. Like, Native Americans, Mexicans, fucking South Americans. These are all the people that are related to the red man. So, Native Americans, Mexicans, South Americans, Asians, Southeast Asians, Cambodians, Indonesians, Venezuelans, or whatever, right? Or Tasmanians, Polynesians, Hawaiians, Aboriginals, Indians from India, Egyptians, Hindus, Middle Easterners, Samoans, Tongans, Hawaiians, Oceanic people, South Americans. Those are all people that are all related to one another. That's one group of people. That's one family. It's the straight black-haired brown melanin man. You got the brown melanin and you got the black melanin. The black melanin came because the brown melanin got burned in the third age with the third sun. There were solar flares. There's different suns, yo. Different types of suns. And they mutated to look the way they look. They used to look like us.
From ancient Greece, from Plato, who describes it as a powerful island civilization linked to Atlas and Greek myth that just didn't fail, it also disappeared. Now, linguistically speaking, though, the two names come from two different languages, Nahuatl and Ancient Greek. There isn't a direct historical connection between them, well, at least not one that we've found yet. But names aren't the whole story. What matters is what those names represent. An island homeland, a place of origin, a lost world remembered through tradition. That overlap has helped make the...
Did you see the fucking Hindu on the fucking Mayan? Mayan and Hindu. So, Indians and Hindus are related. You should be able to put a dot on your head and look like one of them, and they should be able to put a feather on them and look like one of us. Or related to them. You're probably more related to them than you would be a Siberian, to be honest. It's that H haplogroup.
5 and 4 on 5 on my soul. And it about, goddamn, I just shoot the hell up. It about a 4 in that hole.
Yeah, you're gonna die, bro. What are we looking up? Oh, seeing if I won my appeal. Come on, yo, that's crazy, yo.
Comparisons
See
stick.
how our eyes went away after
But
that?
someone brought those ideas from ancient history to
They
modern
go away
times.
when I do that, yo. Hey.
And that someone was Ignatius Loyola Donnelly. Donnelly wasn't some fringe mystic or eccentric outsider. He was a lawyer, a reformer, and yes, a member of the U.S. Congress. Donnelly served as a Republican congressman from Minnesota from 1863 to 1869 during and just after the American Civil War. This wasn't some guy writing from the fringes. Donnelly was plugged into politics, reform, education, the big post-war conversations of the time. Then in 1882, while he was known on both sides of the Atlantic, Donnelly published Atlantis, the Antediluvian World. And this book wasn't presented as fiction. It was presented as historical investigation. In the book, Donnelly argued that Atlantis was a real civilization that existed before recorded history and that was destroyed by a sudden catastrophe. But there were survivors who spread across the world and became the seeds of ancient cultures like ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, Mesoamerica, and parts of Europe. He believed Atlantis explained what scholars had been struggling with for a long time. The tradition of building pyramids in different parts of the world, flood myths in different places, similar symbols and mythic figures across cultures, and advanced astronomical knowledge appearing in cultures that on paper had no contact with each other. For Donnelly, Atlantis wasn't fantasy. It was the missing chapter of human history. Remember, this is the late 1800s. Archaeology was still figuring itself out, and the Americas are forcing historians to rethink timelines. A lot of the older explanations, including the Bible, were suddenly under tremendous scrutiny and pressure, and people were looking for ways to make sense of it all, like the theory of evolution. Donnelly's book offered something people wanted, a way to explain ancient cultures without having to rewrite ancient history practically overnight. His ideas were debated, criticized, and challenged, but they were not ignored, and they shaped generations of thought. So you might be asking yourself, so what did Donnelly think of Aztlán and the Mexica? Donnelly didn't mention Aztlán or the Mexica. He didn't have to. Once Atlantis was proposed as this global source civilization, almost any origin story involving an island homeland and migration could be interpreted through that lens. And that made a connection between Aztlán and Atlantis not just possible. Once Atlantis was proposed...
Got the Greeks, the Romans, the Sumerians. What's that? The Americas, the Hindus. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's dragon bird. And I don't know what the fuck that one is either. We're putting a groove on this drumstick. Hayne hoe, hayne hoe, ane, hayne hoe, hayne hoe, ane, no yo, hayne gaya, hayne hoe, hey oh, ya, hey oh, ya, hey oh, hayne hoe, hayne hoe. Hayne hoe ane no yo gai ya. Let's see.
Proposed as this global source civilization, almost any origin story involving an island homeland and migration could be interpreted through that lens. And that made a connection between Aztlán and Atlantis not just possible, but inevitable.
I run a podcast solo. No producer, no editor, no tech skills, just Riverside. I get high quality podcast recordings right from my room. And I'm not even using expensive equipment.
More than a century after Donnelly, this same question came back, just this time through writer and researcher Graham Hancock. Hancock argues that human civilization is much older than we thought, and that an advanced culture existed around 12,000 years ago, before being wiped out by a global catastrophe. Now, he's careful to say he's not calling that civilization Atlantis. And he's also clear that indigenous peoples were completely capable of building their own societies. What he suggests, though, is that some knowledge, things like astronomy, sacred geometry, and advanced engineering, may have survived the catastrophe and been passed down, developed independently by later cultures. Discoveries like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which is over 11,000 years old, have forced a lot of people to rethink what ancient humans were capable of far earlier than expected. To some people, Hancock feels like Donnelly with better tools and newer discoveries. But to others, he pushes things way too far. Again, I'm leaving all that up to you. Either way, this work explains why this idea refuses to stay buried. We seem to keep coming back to it. And people are taking it further. Some people have looked at Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent associated with knowledge, wind, Venus, and civilization. And noticed similarities with old world figures like Osiris in Egypt or Enki in ancient Sumer. Not saying they're the same being, but the parallels are close enough that people keep bringing them up.
Enki is Quetzalcoatl. See, now that's the stuff that's going to be in the book too. The different gods and the different religions and what they are in ours. Because I've already done it with the Gnosticism. Yahweh is the west wind, the father of the twins. Sophia's sky woman. The Pleroma is sky world. The Sophia sky woman is also a fallen angel, and that's her fall from the highest heaven. This is the material world of sky and water. Turtle Island was Pangea. What else? Left hand and right hand was Yaldabaoth and the Demiurge. But yeah, yo. Oh, yeah, see? That did help me. Trying to get more people in here, yo. Yeah, that might be better, yo. Definitely more grippy. Definitely way more grippy, yo. Way more grippy. Hey. Oh, that's good. Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Make this side a little bit bigger. Sand that down, flatten that out. The bougie. Be careful last time you did that. No, it wasn't. Do you know, that was a long time ago. It wasn't the last time. I've made like 4 drumsticks since that happened. That was a long time ago. Which finger was that on? That was so long ago, yo. Was it this one? Yeah, right here. See that scar? That C? That was like a year, almost 2 years ago, yo. Made like 4 drumsticks since then, yo. What the fuck? Last time. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that, yo. Last time. What do you think I am, yo? Fucking beginner? There we go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah? Okay. That's fine with me. Okay, go ahead, go for it. There's everybody. Hey, we're working on a drumstick right now. Hey, we're putting some grooves in it so it's got more grip to it, and it's actually way better. I love it. Probably put some more grip to it too. Actually, I don't know. It's very good. Yeah, that's real good. That's not gonna come out. Yeah, that's nice. Maybe put another one right there so it's like double. Or on that side, flatten it out like that too. So it's just like, you know. Hey! Go! Fuck. Good luck with that, Lena's.
Others go in a completely different direction and argue that the Mesoamerican peoples are really a lost tribe of Israel. That idea shows up in certain religious traditions, including early Mormon theology, which places ancient, vanished civilizations in the Americas. And once you go down those paths, you start hearing ideas that might sound off at first, but later might have you thinking. For example, about the idea that indigenous codices were censored. And to be fair, most of what we have in the way of surviving codices was written after the Spanish arrived, along with suppressed histories and shared global stories about floods, fire from the sky, and world-ending destruction. You don't have to accept these ideas to understand why they keep coming back, but they do show just how wide this conversation has spread, and why it refuses to go away.
Seedance 2.0 is now on Artlist, and you can get precisely what you want.
I'll take a robbery.
Was I tempted to go further down that rabbit hole? Oh, yes. But then I never would have made this episode, would I? And this brings us to a question. Why do we even know the name Atlantis at all? What we know about Atlantis traces back to one person, the Greek philosopher Plato. Atlantis appears in 2 of his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, written around 360 BCE. Now, Plato wasn't writing history the way we think of it today. He was using stories to explore ideas about politics, morality, and the rise and fall of civilizations. According to Plato, the story came to him through a chain of transmission. Egyptian priests gave the story to the revered lawgiver Solon, who passed it down, eventually reaching Plato generations later. That already tells us something important, that even in Plato's time, the story of Atlantis was considered ancient history. Plato describes Atlantis as a powerful island civilization located beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Now, most scholars agree that that's the Strait of Gibraltar, but others say it's places like the mid-Atlantic Ocean or in the Caribbean or in South America. And Atlantis was wealthy, technologically advanced, and militarily dominant, like nothing else in the ancient world. In the story, the island is important enough to be protected by Poseidon himself. But despite being seemingly perfect, that utopian society became arrogant and morally corrupt, which led to its destruction by earthquakes and floods in a single catastrophic event sent by the gods as punishment for the inhabitants' moral decline. But here's a key point that often gets lost. Plato presents Atlantis like it's a real place. He doesn't introduce it as a myth, a parable, or a hypothetical, and Donnelly did similar hundreds of years later. And in Critias, where Atlantis is described in most detail, at a key point in the story cuts off before divine judgment is passed. Ancient cliffhanger. It's not clear if Plato intentionally left it unfinished as some sort of a philosophical exercise or simply abandoned the project, but Plato never gave us an ending. And that's it. No other Greek writer describes Atlantis, no other ancient source mentions it really at all. And so we're left with a strange situation. A detailed story by one of history's most influential thinkers, the original influencer, and never resolved. Now, there's one more thing we need to talk about if we're going to be honest about this conversation about Aztlan and Atlantis. Timelines. Here's where things get tricky and where a lot of people seem to tune out. But if you lean in, this is going to be important. Aztlan itself sits in the mythic path. There's no hard founding date for it. There's been speculation, but there's no hard evidence. Nothing in writing. But the migration from Aztlan, that has dates attached to it. The Mexica themselves tell us in their own records that 7 different Nahua groups began leaving Aztlan around the year 1064 or 1065 AD. And here's an important detail that often gets missed. The Mexica were the last to leave Aztlan. The other 6 groups migrated earlier, in waves. By the time the Mexica reached the Valley of Mexico, almost 200 years later in the year 1250, most of the good land was taken. And they spent years moving from place to place before finally founding Tenochtitlan in 1325 AD. So here we're talking about under 1,000 years ago, right? Atlantis, at least as Plato describes it, sits in a completely different time frame. Plato says Atlantis was destroyed 9,000 years before his own lifetime, which puts it around 11,500 years ago. Curiously enough, near the end of the last ice age. On the surface, that is a massive gap. And if you're thinking, those timelines don't line up at all, you're not wrong. So how do people who believe in the Aztlan-Atlantis connection deal with that timeline difference? One way is to say that Aztlan wasn't exactly Atlantis itself, just a much later homeland, but settled by people whose ancestors carried fragments of a far older story that traced back to Atlantis. So this group of people wouldn't see Atlantis as a dot on a map at all. Now, there's no hard proof for these ideas, at least as I've found, but these ideas haven't been completely ruled out either. And that's the key point. If the timelines would have lined up cleanly, then this question would have been resolved centuries ago. The fact that they don't is exactly why people are still talking about it. So, are Aztlan and Atlantis the same place? That depends on how you weigh myth, history, and evidence. Now, I don't pretend to have all the answers here. I share what I find, and then we compare notes. Now, if you think that I missed a story or source that really needs to be a part of this conversation, drop it in the comments. And if you've got references, real references that we can look up, even better. Let's dig into this together. And if you want to keep going with this series of myths, legends, history, and mysteries that we explore here, hit subscribe. It's one click, and it helps make all of this possible. Now, the Searching for Aztlan playlist is already up here, and it is
Scan out. we go. Hey.
Good surprises, free dessert. Bad surprises, hidden fees. That's why University of Phoenix's Tuition Guarantee locks in your tuition rate from start to finish of your program, so you can focus on the sweet stuff. Learn more at phoenix.edu.
Ever been deep into a small town mystery podcast, only to realize that 8 episodes later, there's no resolution in sight? That's how shopping for car insurance can feel. Click after click, form after form, just as lost as when you started. Thankfully, you can count on Credit Karma to see personalized rates from top providers right up front, so you can skip the mystery and get the numbers you need right from the jump. Download Intuit Credit Karma to get started.
Good ass coffee. Hey. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. I didn't even see you guys over there. Just watching me jam out, huh? Enjoying this cup of coffee on nigga G. Nangan on nigga G. This coffee, it tastes good.
Welcome to the new generation of web creation.
7 years ago, they were saying this on YouTube.
For so long, and for this day I prayed, that the stars will help me guide my way home. Lost in the land of our ancestors, who knew it was the dirt beneath our feet? That's not where they tried to tell us. For years in school, we were gone off McGraw-Hill textbooks. No truth, no shame. And at the point that I realized the truth had been disguised, that I'm not African, I despise that lie. Who am I? For generations, my people stayed gone off idols made of stick and stone, the rape babies of Rome, the divided slaves of Egypt, subservient to the united fake Jews and the wild Gentiles from the cave, a confused jigaboo slave from Timbuktu to New Babylon. For centuries, the truth stayed hidden. History got rewritten on scrolls in vermilion. And manipulated Mississippians from Corinthians to Philippians.
People have been waiting a lifetime for something like this. Now, this is just a tiny bit of information now.
But they take it as huge.
Right, because it's cracking open the door that was closed for centuries.
There's a place in Africa you could say that I'm from. A tribe. I am thrilled. It puts a name, a place, a location, a people. It opens up such possibilities.
But the problem is, Sierra Leone wasn't the only answer Vi got. A company called Relative Genetics found a match to a single person in the Wobi tribe in the Ivory Coast.
Different? Different. Now, I got all excited about that, and this is different. Now, how could that happen?
Then a third company, Trace Genetics. Your particular sequence matches sequences reported among multiple Mendanka individuals in Senegal.
What's up with this?
And Family Tree DNA, the company that linked Vi with Marion in the first place, came up with a whole list of matches. This goes on and on.
My goodness.
So what do we know about Vi's ancestry? The DNA does indicate that she has distant relatives in the men.
Yeah, that's because that's when it fucking first came out, and they're probably just trying to give you a solid answer when it first came out of like what one thing. They didn't want to give you all of it at once. Nowadays, they just give it to you everything, what your highest percentages are.
They try.
And that's not what your highest, you're not like 15% that, 1% this, and 2% that. It's the likelihood you're related to those people. So say you're 86% indigenous. You have an 86% chance you are related to those people that it's tied to. That's what that means.
But she also has relatives in all those other tribes. So no one can say for sure where Vi's maternal ancestor actually came from. When I handed Vi the certificate, she got extremely emotional about it. She wept, and it meant so very much.
People want to believe.
They want to believe they've gotten an answer.
And it's not fair of us to let them believe that we're giving them certain answers, because scientifically, we just can't.
Hey,
Hank Greeley is concerned that the science isn't really there yet for you to be giving them the name of a tribe.
I think
Someone smoke alarm. Is it? No way. Why isn't ours going off though? It's not ours. Oh shit. My girl, she's cooking grilled cheese and the smoke alarm's going off. Yeah, don't do that. No, don't do that. Or go ahead then. Why don't you just look up the number for the fire department? They need to, there wasn't a number to transfer to someone? They said to call them last time if it's a smoke alarm going off like this. They said just to call them, and then look, we just called them and it was like, oh, if it's an emergency, hang up and call 911. Yo, why don't you call that number? Call them back. There should be, instead of having to call 911, they should transfer you to someone. They told us to call them if the smoke alarm went off. Try to see if you can get it transferred or whatever. You can't just disconnect it and take the battery out so it can stop. No, it's already set the building off. It's dumb, y'all. It's just we're cooking. Yeah. There's no fire. I don't know why I should give them a run number. I should have just told them it's false alarm. There's no smoke alarm. That's the building's fault for being such a. That's them. See what I mean? Like you cook something and the smoke alarm goes off, it's a whole fucking shebang, yo. Yeah, that's their fault, yo. And then they told us to call them last time, and then I'm gonna bitch at them when they get here too. It's like you told us to fucking call you when it's a false alarm like this, when we're just cooking and it goes off, right? Because it happens all the fucking time. And we're not the only ones that this happens to. It happens to both our neighbors. It happens to everybody here. This happens every fucking day. Every fucking day. They should know by now. They should know by now, to be honest. And they told us to call them, right? And then it's like, oh, call 911. Yeah, that shit's just gonna piss me off when they get here. I'm just gonna tell them, you told us to call you and you don't have, nobody answers. It tells you to call 911. So what's that about? Yeah, that's fucking retarded. Give us a number you'll fucking answer without having to transfer us, yo. So you don't have to fucking waste your time and come here. Right. It's fucking dumb. You might as well finish cooking because it's gonna go off again if you don't. Yeah. If you just stop cooking and then start cooking again, so might as well cook through it. Why am I getting flagged for hate speech now? Alright, I gotta reset. Goddamn, but these fucking firefighters, y'all. The fuck? Joe Rogan.
You don't believe that Africans were brought over on slave ships?
Correct. I believe it may have happened, maybe people were brought over as slaves, but I don't think that the black people in America came from Africa on slave ships. I believe the people that were here were slowly conquered. First, they got the East Coast, and then they started spreading out west little by little, conquering. And when you conquer a tribe, what do? You enslave them. They're POWs, right?
Okay.
That's what you do. So after you conquer this tribe, you make them slaves. Now, how do you conquer the natives here? So let's say you got this tribe is warring against this tribe. Well, this tribe goes talk to the white man. White man says, yo, if you help me wipe out these people, then boom, I'll help you
That's
with
not
whatever,
how
whatever.
it fucking happened, dude. There's no way you fucking think it happened that way.
What you guys cooking? Anything good?
Grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese? Alright, let me just see how bad it is.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Alright. Kitchen's. Alright. Yeah, if you want to try to reset it.
Yo, how come you guys told us to call you last time if this happens again, and then we called the number and it just says call 911.
Yeah, we're still. I don't know. We would never. The fire department told you when they, because we don't.
If it's a false alarm.
Yeah, call.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a false alarm. You guys there was no reason for you guys to even come.
We're still gonna come.
Okay.
But this place, a lot of people don't answer their doors.
Okay.
So we always advise you to call so we know where to go.
Okay.
Because otherwise, we gotta knock on everybody's apartment.
Yeah. No, it was just.
But
cooking.
anytime there's an alarm for a fire, we're gonna come because anybody can start a fire. Call and say there's not a fire.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So we're gonna clear it and reset it. If that clears, we're good to go.
It's fucking bullshit. Descent.
You can pick up the one else. It's and we cleared it. All right, we're all set. Hey, no, you're welcome. Have a good night.
See how it's fucking whack? How that's really whack? Yeah, dude, I fucking hate that, yo. It's like, dude, and then he is like, you're sitting there trying to talk to me, bro. Obviously, I don't want to fucking talk to you, bro. Fuck, yo. There's no need to come at all, yo. And you know what? I'm not even trying to be like that, yo. I'm just mad that they told us to call and that's what happened. Why would they tell us to fucking call? Because you know what? The last time they told us to call, they said it to us like real bitchy, like it was like they didn't want to have to come here.
I saved it in my phone and everything too.
Yeah, exactly, yo. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm fucking shitty right now. That's exactly why I'm fucking shitty right now, is because last time that happened, they came here and they were all fucking pissed and they said, if that happens again, just give us a call so we don't have to come all the way here. And then this happens and he comes in here and he said, they said that? Yo, we would never say that. Blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? Yeah, yo. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here, yo.
Bodies believed to be.
That is not. Oh, that shit pissed me off, yo. We're hopping online again. You guys are still here, though. That's what I'm saying, yo. You shouldn't never stopped. Who were the Tartarians? Yeah, dude. That's a good video. That is a really good video. I like that video.
They found in lineage, but what they found instead was something strange. There's one characteristic of North American warfare that sticks out.
Okay, white or los blancos or blancas, who are they? Yeah, where do they come from? From Spain, Europeans, right? Then you have black negros, okay? Then you have los indios. Do you know where are the Indians from, dude?
I'm sorry, I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Are
Alana?
they indigenous people?
Oh yeah, okay, where'd they come from?
They were already there?
Yeah, well, they weren't there from the very beginning, but okay, so where'd they come from?
See, that's wrong. They're teaching wrong. That's not right, yo. You don't speak for us. You don't know our story. That's gotta stop. So check this out. This guy asked this girl, "Where are indigenous people from?" And this is what I'm talking about. This is what's wrong with society.
Are they indigenous people?
Oh yeah, okay, where'd they come from?
They were already there?
Yeah,
Right? That's what her soul and her heart is telling her.
well, they weren't there from the very beginning, but
You don't speak for us, dude. You're not native and you're not from here and you don't know our story. Our story doesn't say we migrated here.
but okay, so where'd they
There's people that migrated and mixed in with us, but we started here. We began here. We have DNA that proves it.
come from though?
Probably also Africa at some point.
Oh man, come on. All right, hang on, we'll come back to that.
You see what I mean? Life began in the Americas. And life began in the Americas, and the red man is the original inhabitant of the earth. This is mankind. Red man is mankind, right? And then mutations happened to the red man. He had to go back into the earth. He got lighter and he came back to the earth. Some stayed on top and they got darker, you know? But they mixed and they made different races of man, right? And he mated with different things on earth. And there's 4 different types of man, the 4 root races: red, black, white, and yellow. First it was red, then yellow, then black, then white. That's the order.
Are Black Americans Moors? I posted a video about Cinco de Mayo about the Black history.
Bro, I'm indigenous to American Indian, not African. Hold.
What culture?
Before it was a state, parts of
assert territorial claims for Spain and find a route to the Pacific Ocean. It was also intended to keep Spain in control of trade by reaching agreements with tribes so as to block out the influence of the Canadian British. The expedition was a mixture of nationalities.
We can try to reach a $50
Evans was
goal
second in
every day
command to Scotsman
for the
James
next
Mackay.
2 weeks.
Mackay had become
that'd be
a Spanish citizen. Both had
Guys,
taken an oath of
check
loyalty
my
to the
bio
Spanish
if you
king.
guys are interested in
Most of the
helping
crew were French, people who had settled on land previously governed by France. At this stage, it seems that John spoke neither French nor Spanish. Communication must have been a challenge. They set out in 4 riverboats. John had evidently learned skills as a surveyor while working in Baltimore, and later was taught more by Mackay, who gave him clear instructions of everything he was to record during the journey. And those instructions were incredibly detailed. Mackay had written, "In your journal, you will place all that will be remarkable in the country that you will traverse. The route, distance, latitude, and longitude, also the winds and weather. And make a note of all the minerals, vegetables, timber, rocks, flintstone animals, game, reptiles, rivers, mountains, fish, shellfish." And there was even more than this. No information was to be left out of John Evans's report. This was quite a turnaround. John Evans had gone from being a prisoner of the Spanish to an agent of the Spanish king. This wouldn't have gone down very well in London, but it was tremendous good luck for him because he was now going to be paid for going to more or less where he wanted to go. The expedition up the Missouri River encountered several tribes of native peoples with whom they traded. Then John set off further north with a small group of men to make further discoveries. A hostile encounter with Lakota warriors, more commonly known as Sioux, made them flee back to the main party. But eventually talks were held with the tribes and he was off again. But he was not in good health. It seems that since the start of the journey he had contracted malaria, which laid him low several times and was to trouble him greatly. He wrote that on occasions he could walk no more than 100 yards without needing to stop and rest. But despite his serious illness, he was not to be deterred from his mission. Later reflecting, "I was determined to risk my life, feeble as I was, and start to the Illinois."
Start to the Illinois. That's a tribe, y'all. Why do I keep getting off live videos? I'm sorry. It's because on TikTok I had to reset, so we're good now. How's everybody doing though? You guys doing well? Seized, yo. Hey. Nothing but sun where you're at. Where you at, yo? Where you at, though? Yo, what's good, yo? So much misinformation, yo. Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
So here's one of the questions I've received. What is the Vedic understanding of the origin of humans and their subsequent migrations to all parts of the world? See, humans go through 4.32 million year cycles. At the beginning of each cycle, the human population is replenished with beings from higher realms, called Manus and other demigods. The father of all mankind presently on this planet is Ikshvaku. He was around between 3.5 and 4 million years ago, and probably entered via the Himalayas, where there were gateways from other realms. About 90,000 years ago, complex networks of human tribes began to spread around the world. And through time, gradually adapting into the races we recognize today.
That didn't explain shit.
What's the biggest ethnic group in India? They make up over one.
Most religions have a single creation story. Hinduism has many. This is because for Hindus there is no single creation, but periodic cycles of creation. The universe we live in is one of innumerable universes. The story of our universe begins with a vast ocean. A serpent, Anantashesh, floats on its surface. Vishnu is asleep in its coils. A lotus sprouts from his navel. On top sits the four-headed demigod Brahma. At first, Brahma can't tell who he is or what he should do. Vishnu encourages Brahma to create the world from the materials he has provided. After eons of meditation, Brahma hears a sound arising from the depths of the ocean, a humming that increases in volume, the sacred Om. Brahma splits the lotus into three parts. One becomes the heavens, another the sky, the third the earth. He creates grass, flowers, trees, birds, fish, and other animals. The world fills with living, breathing things. Regularly, within the cycles of creation, Brahma wants to produce more species or to increase the population of the universe. One time, he produced two forms, a male and female, and they combined to give birth to sons. Another time, he divided in two, becoming male and female. The female part became a cow, and the male part a bull. They give birth to calves. Then she became a mare, and he became a horse. They have foals. And so the process continued to expand the living world.
I didn't understand that. Did you guys get that? Did you guys catch that one?
Yes, namaste. Welcome, everyone. This
The Hopi prophecy, the man in the red hat, is mentioned in this prophecy, which specifically refers to a red cap, hat, or gown worn by a leader on the North American continent. In a thought-provoking video shot decades ago in 1972, a prophecy emerges that resonates with our current societal dynamics. This prophecy speaks of a nation on the North American continent led by a figure wearing a distinctive red hat. Many have speculated about the meaning behind the red hat, notably the one famously worn by Donald Trump.
We gotta go live on here
The
for...
specificity of this prophecy is both intriguing and chilling.
Let's see.
The vision of a pivotal nation. The prophecy describes a powerful nation with millions of people and advanced technology. It suggests that this...
For tomorrow and then the next day, and then I get full access. Let me see if I got... I'm banned over there. We got 2 on Facebook, 8 on YouTube, and 9 on TikTok. I'm alright with that. I don't need a big ass crowd. Let's see. See if I won my appeal, because if I won my appeal, I'll go back over there and get more viewers. Nothing. Yeah, well, I think we'll call it a night, though, guys. Alright? We're gonna call it a night, so I'll catch y'all later at Schoongea.